Hello everyone and welcome back to my sewing room. If you're new, my name's Diane and this week's video is going to be very quick because I have nothing really to share with you on the sewing front. I've been in my sewing room and I've been busy, but there's not a lot yet to show. But what I wanted to talk about was how to get access to my free designs if you would like to. So if you saw my last week's video, you saw that I created the vintage style flimsy, and the backing I'm still looking for, so nothing yet has taken my eye. I don't want to rush it and choose a backing that I'm not 100% happy with, so that's saved away. So getting back to the designs, if you go onto my homepage and then you click along the top, you'll see there's a row of different links. If you click onto the post, that will take you to past posts and there'll be my designs. And my designs are very simple. I just use graph paper and each square represents a particular size. Usually I work in 3-inch squares or 3-inch half square triangles or multiples of 3 inches, and so all in here are all the quilts I've designed, lots and lots. There are some quilt designs in here that I haven't yet made, and sometimes I've designed a quilt and I think, oh, I might go back and tweak that, do something a little bit different. And so that's where I keep them. So I'll show you now quickly the designs that you'll find on my post. You can only put 10 images per post, and so for clarity of the design for this vintage style quilt, I've put the images up in 2 parts, and so you'll see that there are an image and then you'll see that there are the sizes of the fabric that I use, the blocks. Now the only thing I would suggest if you are going to create this quilt, like I say, 3-inch squares, 3-inch half square triangles, however you like to make them. Around the medallion I used a different size for some of the strips and the borders, and I've put those down as whichever length, 5.5 inches with 1 3/4 inches or 1.75 inches. And that doesn't give you a lot of trimming room with a 1/4 inch seam. So when you're cutting that, if you want to allow yourself either a little bit more, so a little bit larger than 1 3/4, or if you want to use a scant seam, just to give yourself a little bit of trimming space if that's what you'd like to do. So just have a little try before you attempt any of these blocks, just to make sure that they're the sizes that they need to be to fit together. And the dot blocks, again, in the design I've put down 1.5 inches, and that gives you plenty of room for trimming. So that is all of the design. So I just sat in my sewing room with my graph paper and my lovely pencils, and I worked out the designs, and it's all available to you free on my community posts. So that's the design chat. Then I cleaned everywhere. So I cleaned my sewing machine, changed the needles, I give the sewing room a nice clean. And there were bits of fabric from other projects and from this project that I hadn't processed. So I started with the leftover pieces from this project. And I normally just keep my processing sizes quite limited. I have just over or just under 1.5 inch strips for log cabins or my dot squares. I have some 3-inch squares or 3-inch half square triangles, or 4 3/4 inch squares, and that's how I create my 3-inch half square triangles, by the method of sewing around 2 squares 4 3/4 inches and then cutting on the diagonal. But because I had some unusual bits of fabric that was odd sizes when I was trimming, and I did have a little bit of the medallion fabric left that I'd use for the borders there. I decided that I would introduce some little 4 patches. So they were 1 3/4 inch squares. They were leftovers from the medallion quilt, the vintage style quilt, or I cut them purposefully, strips for that size. So I made quite a few little dot squares first of all. I have got a work in progress. I've been saving lots of these dot squares for a quilt, but when I looked at everything, I thought perhaps I might keep them aside and use all of that vintage style fabric in another quilt, just keep them. And when I made the 4 patches, there was quite a lot. You can see on this board there are quite a few squares, and so yeah, I'm not sure what the quilt will look like yet. I'm not in the mood really to think of the design, although different ideas do keep popping into my head. So I've kept those all together at the moment in a tray and covered that up and popped that away. I do find that if I've got some processed fabric that I've put into blocks, it sort of triggers ideas for creativity for another quilt. On those days when you think, I'm not quite sure what I want to make, and you know, there's always something that excites me if I look in those boxes of made up squares. So that's all of the sewing, I think, this week. Like I say, it's time consuming making up these small blocks, and there isn't a lot to show for it, but one day they'll look beautiful in a quilt, I'm sure. So in the garden, we were spoilt. We had some beautiful, glorious sunshine, about 19 degrees centigrade, and we were out and enjoying the warm weather, and then the wind came and the rain again. It turned chilly, we've had some frosts, hail, a little bit of snow, and so you know, spring or summer properly hasn't arrived yet. So I will show you some of the images of the front garden today. You can see the tulips were all coming out in the sunshine, but they're all closed up again now. But you can hear the wind. And then I'll show you some shots in the back garden. And so the back garden, again, the daffodils and narcissi have all been blasted with these winds, and some of the young shoots on the clematis have been snapped off in the wind, but they'll all come again when the weather changes, which I'm sure it will do eventually. And so that's it for me this week. Like I say, very quick video. I'm not sure what I'm going to be working on to show you, so I will create some quilts, well, a quilt, and then I'll share that with you, but I don't know when that will happen because I've got nothing planned at the moment. I have got some ideas for some project liners, so I'm going to be concentrating on working on those, I think, for a little while, and I will be working through those drawers and making a little bit of progress of all of those works in progress. So that's what I'll be doing for the next while. So I will see you again when I see you. I'm sure it won't be next week because I won't have anything unless I'm suddenly given lots and lots of energy and enthusiasm, and I do a lot of midnight sewer, but I think that's Angela Walters' niche, not mine. I will see you again when I see you. Take really good care of yourselves. Enjoy your sewing. Have a go at designing if you fancy it. It's not as hard as it looks. And so, thank you very much for watching and enjoy your sewing. Bye.